again, everyone. Time again for the weekly load recap for this last week. This is probably going to be a pretty quick video because this last week for us was not a great week. Like I've told y'all before in some of the other videos, you know, in expediting, it's a little different than regular trucking. You know, there's some weeks you'll have a really good week. There's some weeks you won't have a great week. Now, it was an okay week, but it really wasn't a great week at all. So let's get into it. We did 2 loads for the week this last week. Our total loaded miles was 2590. Our total deadhead was 627 miles, and our deadhead percent was 24%. Load number 1 was a load that went from Ohio to Alabama. The loaded miles on this run was 584 miles. Our total deadhead miles was 609 miles. Now, if you caught that, the deadhead was actually more than the loaded miles, and you know, that load is not an ideal load, and we really don't like doing loads like this. And the only reason we did this load is because the pay was really good on it. Otherwise, we would not have taken this load. The deadhead percent on this load was 104%. You know, those kind of loads are loads you really want to avoid. But again, you know, like I've told you before, we look at our bottom line, what they're paying us, what we're making per mile, and that's what we go by. Now, what they were paying us to do this load fell into those parameters that we like to see, so we went ahead and took the load. It was also a load that was going somewhere we knew we would get right out of, so that was really the saving factor on that. Again, it's not an ideal load, but it was a good pay, and it was going right where we would get right out of there. Now, on the deadhead rate per mile, we did negotiate a little bit higher rate on that than what the normal 20 cents per mile is right now. So load number 2 was a load that went from Alabama to California. This loaded miles on this was 2,006 miles. The deadhead miles were 18 miles, and the deadhead percent on that was 1% of the loaded miles. This, of course, since it was low deadhead miles, we didn't negotiate any higher rate on that deadhead. It basically came right out of where we delivered to, and it was a good mile run, loaded mile run, and it pretty much saved our week last week. You know, if we wouldn't have gotten that run with the a little bit over 2,000 miles, it probably would have been a really bad week for us. So this run really saved us, and again, it was good miles. It's going to a good area in California that we normally don't have a problem getting out of. So that's why we took it. It kind of salvaged our week this last week. So let's recap. We did again a total of 2 loads. Our total loaded miles was 2,590 miles. Our total deadhead for the week was 627 miles. So that was our week last week. Again, I told you it was kind of be a short video. You know, always keep in mind, not every week's a home run week. The week wasn't bad. You know, we did make money, so that's always good. You don't want to be in the negative only doing one run for a couple hundred miles. So the week did end up okay. You know, of course, we always like those better weeks, but it wasn't too bad. So that was our week this last week. Thank you always for watching and subscribing. We'll see you in our next video. Take care and bye-bye.